Hello, this is a tutorial on how to work with 4K clips in Premiere Pro. What's a 4K clip? 4K clips or video clips have 4 times the resolution of a regular HD clip. So if I've downloaded a video and I look at it in my Finder, I'm in columns view, and I look under dimensions, I can see that it is 3840 by 2160. So a regular HD is 1920 by 1080. So it's literally twice as wide and twice as tall in terms of the size of the frame. So that means that I can zoom in without a problem. Without getting into any more technical details, let's head into Premiere Pro. And here I have a 4K clip in my timeline, and I love this duet, but I don't want to watch it from so far away. So fortunately it's 4K, so I can do something about that. So how? I'm going to start by double clicking on that clip. That's going to open it up here in the viewer window. Now the viewer window has different functions. Primarily I'm going to use it just to know that I'm working with the right clip, and then also to work with effect controls. So if I click on effect controls, I'm going to see all this information come up. If you ever can't see it, say you have your windows sized differently, you can always click on these double arrows and then you can scroll down to effect controls. Yeah. Okay. So every clip in Premiere Pro has these basic parameters that you can affect. Motion with position and scale, which we'll talk about. Opacity, which is like the transparency level. So from opaque to being able to see through the clip to something that's underneath. And even volume. You can edit do some basic sound editing in Premiere Pro in your timeline, which is really helpful. But for today, we're going to just look at motion. So scale is, you can think of as zoom. How far do I zoom in or out? And then position is kind of where the frame of the shot is located. And so I can move that into different points in a 4K clip, which we'll see. So now if I was going to use this in a choreography reel, I would want to start with it zoomed out so that people could see it's a big, beautiful stage with some gorgeous lighting, and then get into the meat of the dancing. So how do I do that? Well, certainly I know that I want to zoom in. Now let's just say that if you're working with a clip where the dancing happens in kind of one spot, basically, you could zoom in and you may not have to do anything else. But if you need to change other parameters or move the frame at all, then what I'm going to teach you now will be helpful. So for example, in this situation, if I zoom in, I can see that that's not going to work because I can't see the dancers. So I'm going to zoom back out. Now what did I do to zoom in? I put my cursor over the scale numbers, the blue numbers, and I clicked and then I drag. And that gives me fine control relative to the degree of zoom that I want to use. I can also, if I know that it's 200%, which is a good baseline number, you can go further in than that, 220, 230-ish, without any negative effects on the quality of the clip. If I click directly on it, I can just type the number that I want and go from there. All right, so I know that I want to go in, but I also want to center it on the dancers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create what's called a keyframe. So I'm going to use these rings on the side, and I'm going to click on that, and you'll see this is called the animation area of the effects panel. So it creates a keyframe, a little dot in that animation area. I'm going to do one for position as well. Okay. So, and you can see that there's lots of different things that you can animate. Oh, again, we're just focusing on motion for right now. So I'm starting wide, and then I'm going to come over to my timeline, and I'm going to go forward to about there. And I think I want the zoom in to be done by then. So I'm going to go ahead and click, type in 200, and boom, it looks horrible. So why? Because it's not centered on the dancers. It's zoomed into the amount that I want, but I have to center it on them. So I can go up to the position line and click on those numbers, and I'm going to dial down from 1080 down to like 400, somewhere there. Yeah, okay. So now it's in a good place, leaving some space above them, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move them over to center them in the frame. Okay, that looks good. So then you'll see that Premiere created new keyframes for that position in the timeline. So if I go back, then as I play it forward, you're going to you see that animation of it zooming in and panning over a little bit, which is cool. So next, I know that the dancers are going to move across the stage a bit. Not that much, actually, but I'm just going to do another round of this just so you can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and pan over just a little bit. Keep them centered. And then I know that they come back, and they're probably going to come off the edge. Yeah, they did. Okay, so I want it to be by about there. About there. Okay, I'm going to have it come back. Oops, wrong way. Great. Okay, so now I have an animation of this whole thing. Let's take a look. Cool. So yeah, I had some other things going on in that clip, so the resolution didn't look that great, but yeah, the animation of my 4K clip zooming in and panning back and forth, super easy, super quick to do. And just to be clear, you can do some zooming in on regular HD clips, 1920 by 1080 clips as well. You can go up to about 25% and have it still look good. You can go further than that, it's going to start to look kind of grainy, not as high quality. So for your professional reels, you don't really want to go past 20 to 25%. Okay, hopefully that makes sense, and I hope this helps. Thanks.